Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I hope that you guys have had a great week. It has been an absolutely crazy last couple weeks here. We've had some big changes going on in our household right now, and along with that, our kids just started school back this last week, so that's been hectic within itself, but we are getting adjusted and getting on our new schedule, so that's going well but hectic, and I hope that you guys are doing great. Today, I'm going to be doing a video sharing with you guys exactly how to stage, take, edit, and post your pictures for your website, for your Etsy shop, for your Facebook page, how to make your photos appear more attractive, all that good stuff. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys exactly what I use and how I take my product photos and how I edit them. You really don't need any experience. You don't need any photography skills. You don't need any experience within this. All you need is a smartphone or a camera and some kind of free editing app, and you can totally make your pictures super attractive and stand out really well. So I'm going to be sharing that with you guys today. So if you're interested in this video, then just keep on watching and we will go ahead and get on into it. Okay, so the first thing that I want to mention is quality. So if you don't have a good quality product, but you have the best photo in the world with the best editing and the best lighting, you're still not going to get that traffic, right? So you need to make sure that you feel 100% confident in what you're making and selling. It is free of errors, free of mistakes, and you just feel comfortable with it. So if you, let's just say you just threw together a wood sign really fast to get some product photos up and there was a mistake on it. And you thought, well, maybe nobody will notice it, or maybe it'll be okay. Or let's say you did another wood sign that the stain color was off and it was just kind of splotchy looking, but like, again, you just wanted to get it up. People will notice that and they will take note of it and they'll think that they're going to get that exact product. So you're wanting to take photos of the products that you feel 100% confident in, you're proud of, and you would buy yourself, right? So let's go ahead and think about that first. Always, always, always look at your quality and double check everything before you take your photo. You know, tie up your little bows, make sure everything looks fluffed and pretty, and make sure everything looks great for your photo. So just kind of do your quality check and just make sure everything looks great and you'll be good to go. So the first thing that I will do is open up my blinds just to get some natural lighting in the room. And then I usually turn on my ring light. So you can get this on Amazon, and I will link the one that I have down below. Okay, and here I'm showing you what this looks like before I turn my ring light on and then after I turn my ring light on. So as you can see, it definitely brightens things up and just kind of shows the details. Okay, so the next thing that I'll do is I'll take this big roll of paper, and I think it's called billboard paper. I got it at Hobby Lobby. It was fairly inexpensive. I want to say it was only about $10, and you can use a coupon or wait till it goes on sale. And actually, I don't think Hobby Lobby does the coupons anymore, so you'll have to wait till it goes on sale or just spend it full price, but it's pretty cheap. So as you can see, if you look closely, sometimes there's wrinkles in it, and all you have to do to fix that is take a steam iron or an iron and put a cloth over it and just lightly iron over your whole thing. But I typically don't have to do that because I've found that the brighter the photo is, you won't usually see the wrinkles, and if there's one that's pretty bad, you can usually edit it out. But I don't usually have problems with that. But if you want to iron it, just know that you can. Another thing that a lot of people do is they will cut out a section of this and then glue it to foam board from the Dollar Tree or something like that. So there's a lot of options you can do with this, but usually I'll just roll it up just for the sake of space, and I'll put it away and then just take it out when I want and just take our hallway and I'll just roll it out and take photos. And then I have my ring light right here looking down onto the paper. So that is how I get lighting in here, and I'll turn all the lights on and just brighten up the space as bright as I can. But the key to this part is lighting. You want good lighting and you want it as bright as possible. So as you can see here, all I'm doing is laying my sign down, and I'll kind of usually move my ring light around because I don't like having a big glare on my signs. So I'll kind of move it around just to get a good view that I like. And then this is very important to note. So this is me taking the picture. Always make sure that your phone is in a square aspect ratio. So if you have your camera or your phone, just you want it to be square. So this is the app that I use. I am not sure what it's called, but it looks like that. It's like a sunflower with colors. I will use that, and then when I get on the app, I will scroll around and just kind of first go to this section where I'm able to edit the brightness and the contrast, and as you can see, there's so many different things that you can do. So depending on your situation and what your house looks like and the brightness and the darkness, I will usually play around with it. So the first thing I always do is go to crop, and I will kind of get it square and get it centered because it has grid lines. So I will go and center my picture first. and just get it kind of good. And one thing you want to remember is make sure there's enough space around your sign. If it's too close, it's going to get cut off. So give some background. And then the next thing I'll do is go to brightness usually and brighten it up a little bit. And like I said, this is different for every single picture, just depending on how bright it already is. And then I will usually just play around with different things. I'll go to warmth and make it a little bit more bright that way and kind of take away some of the yellow, some of the dark. As you can see, I'll usually go down a little bit with that. And then I'll kind of just play around with it from there. Like I said, this is totally based off of your preference. I really like saturation and vibrance. That usually brings the color back a little bit because as you can see, when you take the photo, it dulls a lot of the colors down. So I will realistically bring those colors back just depending on how I want it to look. So I just suggest going in there and just play around with it. And you can always undo it by clicking that little X over there if you don't like the way that it looks. And just play around until you get the look that you like. All right, so the next thing that I like to go and do is find the sharpness, and I will sharpen it up just slightly. You don't want to do too much because it looks kind of fake, but I'll just do it a little bit just to kind of bring that crispness back, if that's a word. And then the next thing that I like to do is go to this vinaigrette. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how to say that. And then you will kind of make a little bit of a white border around the outside. And the reason I do this, and it wouldn't look good if you had like a black or different colored background, but with the white background, I like the effect that this gives, and it just kind of like gives it a little bit of a brighter effect. And then the next thing that I'll usually do is go into blur, and I will blur the edges slightly. I don't like a super big blur, but just a slight blur around the corners. I like that. I think that it makes your sign pop or your product pop. Okay, and then here I wanted to show you guys the blur effect or the blemish effect. So if you have a spot in your sign that you want to erase or you want to blend in, you just go and you click the spot that you don't like, and it just kind of virtually disappears. So let's say that I didn't like the spot on my background. I will just click it and it just goes away. So I do this a lot of times if I have really bad wrinkles or anything. You can make the spot larger if you need to, or smaller, and you can kind of fine tune it. But that is how you go and use that tool in this editing app. And like I said, everything will be linked down below, the exact editing app I use, if you guys want to download it on your phones too. All right, so once it's done, I will usually just email it to myself, and then we will go take it from there. But look at this before and after. How crazy is that editing can make this world of a difference? Okay, so as you guys could see, that's how I take my pictures. A lot of times I like to have a plain background, take the photo, keep all my photos kind of consistent, and then sometimes I'll kind of take the product and go outside with it and take some photos, or hold it like I was showing. Just different views. And I've noticed a lot of times people like real life stuff. So maybe have your background photo is something plain, something simple, and then going out and having some fun backgrounds and some outdoor or in action, as they call it, photos. So like I said, you don't need much other than your phone, and just play around with it and use your own creativity. But after I do that, after I take my photos, I will usually email the photo to myself, because I do all the editing and everything on my phone, and then I'll email it to myself onto my computer, and then I will post it on Etsy and Facebook and my website. So I'll go ahead and let's head onto the computer and I'll go through that process with y'all. Okay, y'all, I'm going to show you an example of why I did the photo the way that I did it, and why I kind of had it a little farther back as to opposed to going up too close to the photo. I've had a lot of people come to me and tell me why are my photos being cut off on my Etsy listing, and I'll show you why. So what you're going to do is when you're making a new listing, Etsy kind of has a certain aspect ratio that it likes when you have photos on here. And I think it's 2000 by 2000 pixels, but that's a square. So when you're taking the picture, that's why you want to choose the square aspect ratio and just not have it so close that it will get cut off. Because as you can see in a minute, it is going to compress the photo slightly and look a little bit more cut off if you had it too close. So let's go ahead and pick our photo. Okay, so our photo's on there, and as you can see now, when I have it up here, which is the upload, it looks like normal, and here it is a little bit more zoomed in. So if you had your picture too close, like if you took it right up against the sign, you might have some of it cut off and you might have to adjust from there. And here you can click adjust thumbnail if you'd like to, and you can zoom in a little bit more. Usually you can't zoom out, so unless you zoom in, but that is usually what I'll do is I'll kind of zoom in just a little bit, or sometimes keep it out. It's up to you. But pick what you like, and then once you're done with it, you hit save. And as you can see, this is why we choose our square aspect ratio when we are taking our product photo. And as you can see, the thumbnail is very bright, it is very vibrant, it looks accurate to the actual sign. And the reason we had to kind of play around with the settings a little bit is because sometimes when you're taking those pictures, it does dull it down a little bit, or it doesn't look as accurate. So I'll kind of play around with those that editing and make it look as accurate as I can, and just kind of make it pop a little bit for your customer. And obviously you don't want to make it look super unrealistic, because then you might come across problems, but that is how we put it on Etsy. And same goes for Facebook and for your actual website. Usually you want to keep that square aspect ratio and just kind of play with it from there. But that is all there is to this part. All right, guys, so that was so easy, right? All you needed was your product, a background, some lighting, and a free editing app, and you can take great product photos. You do not need the skills of a photographer. I'm not a photographer. I'm nowhere near a photographer, and I don't have photography skills, but it just takes a little bit of practice and you'll get it, right? So some people might find this video pointless. They might be like, duh, Sallie, it's easy to take a picture and edit it and post it. But to some people, they struggle with this avenue. And I've gotten so many questions, especially lately with people starting up their shops. Why are my pictures are cutting off on the listing? Why do they not look good and bright? How do I improve? And this is exactly what I do. Like I said, sometimes I'll take it and go outside with it and take some pretty pictures, or even holding it in your hand, showing people how big the product is. Just have fun with it. Go and take a bunch of pictures. But the one thing I definitely suggest is just editing it slightly, making it a little bit more bright, adding a little bit of saturation if you want that bright effect or that vibrancy, and not to make it unrealistic like I said before, but just to make your colors pop a little bit, because as you can see, sometimes when you take that photo, everything dulls down, even with that light. So you'll need to kind of brighten it back up with that photo editing app, and you'll be able to kind of bring some life to your picture and to bring some attraction to your picture, because you know that if you have a dull, dark photo, the chances of someone actually clicking on that photo and looking at your stuff is so low. And you might have a great product, but if you have a bad picture, the chances of you getting sales are very low. So take great photos, take the time. It only took me like 5 minutes to do that. Take the time to edit it and to practice and to play around with your pictures and get them better, and you will succeed. I promise that photos are so important. So just take that time and do what you can with them, and you will notice results from it. I hope you guys got something out of this video today. If you did, like it, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I have lots of videos planned, so I will see you guys very soon, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Bye.